In the Knights Kingdom 2 series, Sir Santis was always throwing stuff around. I mean, he's chucking boulders at people, chucking barrels at people. And so when I made a unit based on him in my LEGO wargame, I made sure that that unit would be throwing things around too.
Oh!
Greetings Realm Lords, CORBricks here, and today we're going to be looking at the first unit you can make from the Ursine Cellar, if you're playing as the Cusped Kingdom faction in the Circle of Realms. Now, when we were looking at that Ursine Cellar, we saw that it had a bear theme to it, it had a bear head on it, and the reason why was because it had to have this theme that could match up with this unit here, which is our Bear Knight. These guys are tough little fighters in the Circle of Realms. If our Hawk Knights were our knights that are known for their agility, our Bear Knights are going to be knights that are known for their strength. Let's take a closer look at one of these guys. Our Knights Kingdom 2 figures don't have any prints on their bodies. That's okay though, because they're going to be wearing so much armor, it's going to cover this all up anyway. Specifically, our Bear Knights are wearing a red steel breastplate that blocks 6 elemental damage. They also have a red steel helmet that blocks 3 shredding damage. And of course, they've got this big square bear shield that blocks 6 slashing damage. In addition to that armor, they also have a defense of 6. Offensively, our Bear Knights come equipped with a steel sword that deals 6 slashing damage, and they have a base attack of 3, making for a maximum attack damage of 9. With a precision rating of 4 though, you're not going to be wanting to do a whole lot of attacks with them at night. Now our Bear Knights are pretty slow, they only have a movement of 3, which is the lowest speed you'll see for most units in the Circle of Realms. And like all non-heroes, they've got a health of 10. So who are these Bear Knights? Well, I did talk about how the Ursine Cellar is under control of the Ursaws, which is one of the royal families that are under the Kingdom faction. This is the family that controls the port of Edmure, which is basically where all the major goods are brought in and out of the Cusped Kingdom. And so if you're a family who controls a major port city like that, you need enforcers. You need people who can go around, make sure that everything is looking the way it should on the harbor, that goods aren't being smuggled in and out of the city, unless you are trying to smuggle those goods, of course. And that's who our Bear Knights are originally. They are essentially these port authorities, kind of security officers, who go around and confiscate things. They throw them around. They're very rough with stuff that they're rummaging through and confiscating when they are serving this role as enforcers. They have a reputation for just kind of throwing things about. And this little bit of lore is where the Bear Knights actually get their special attack from. So for looking at these guys, they've got a sword and a shield. Swords are the most common weapon type in the Circle of Realms. It's also the most common armor type in the Circle of Realms. So when you're running around with a sword, you can do damage, but expect to be blocked by armor a lot of times. There's gonna be a lot of units that you're not gonna be able to cut through with a sword. But our Bear Knights don't always need to use a sword. They can actually use the hurl ability to pick up objects that are next to them in the Circle of Realms and throw them at enemy units. So say there's an axe on the ground, they can pick up that axe and throw it, causing hacking damage against the target they're attacking. Or if there's a helmet on the ground, they can pick that up and throw it, causing blunt damage against the target they're attacking. And they can hurl these objects up to 4 spaces away. So this can make our Bear Knights pretty effective fighters against a variety of armor types and at a distance for at least that one turn when they'll get to hurl something. Now, of course, once they throw something, they're gonna have to go and they're gonna have to pick it up again, or they're going to have to find something else that they can throw at the enemy. They don't just have an infinite supply of random objects to chuck at people. And so with this in mind, one of the strategies with the Bear Knights is to actually pick up something on the battlefield and just have the Bear Knights carried around with them, so that when they get into a fight next time, they can begin by throwing something at the enemy and causing damage that way. They're obnoxious little guys, but they're pretty entertaining to see on the battlefield, whether you are fighting with them or against them. It's always interesting to see what the Bear Knights can be throwing around. Now, outside of that special attack, our Bear Knights do have 3 abilities. They are wearing red armor, which, if you know me, means that they're going to be resistant to lava. They can walk in and out of lava as if it's hindering terrain. It will not kill them if they step inside of it. They also have these square shields that are very characteristic of the Knights Kingdom 2 series of castle Lego sets. They've got a stud in the center of them, which means that these are shields that can be modified on the battlefield. So we can actually attach shield mods to these shields and improve their stats, improve the stats of our figure. But if you want to learn more about that, you can check out my video that talks about our Hawk Knights, which have very much the same ability. The one last ability that our Bear Knights have is Visage of the Bear. I mean, these are bear-themed knights after all. And what Visage of the Bear means is basically that these guys, they're a little bit bigger than they look, or they're so wild that they can function as if they're a little bit bigger than they look. So when they are falling or climbing terrain, they're treated as if they are 8 pegs tall instead of 5 pegs tall. That is admittedly a very situational bonus. It's not a big difference between their standard height, but this does mean that when they are falling, they will not take as much fall damage from extreme heights. and when they are climbing, they will be able to climb things that other units won't be able to climb. Well, my friends, that wraps up our Bear Knights, but if you want to see other units that I have here in the Circle of Realms, the rest of the knights that are available to the Cusped Kingdom faction, make sure you're subscribed so that you can see those upcoming videos as we steadily work our way through the first of 10 unique factions in this massive LEGO wargame called the Circle of Realms. And hey, if you really like this content and you want to help me make more of it, then please join my Patreon as well. Now, as always, my friends, don't forget you can go to www.circleofrealms.com if you would like to see in detail what the unit page looks like for these Bear Knights, as well as the unit pages for the Ursine Cellar and all the other units that the kingdom has at its disposal. The links for all that are down below. Next time we look at the leader of these Bear Knights, the mighty Lord Lysander Ursala. But until we get there, my friends, be happy, be healthy, be well, and I'll see you next time in the Circle of Realms.